Am I the a-hole for forcing my son to give me half of his income? Winning the lottery was a moment I'll never forget. I'm 58, and at this point in life, I've worked hard for decades, done my best to save, but this windfall of $1,000 a day for life changed everything. I couldn't believe it at first. It was surreal. The thought of never having to worry about money again was a massive relief, but it also made me start thinking about my son, who's 19 and just starting his adult life. He's a good kid, but like any young adult, he doesn't fully understand the value of money yet, especially something as life-changing as this. So, I had an idea. I wanted to set him up for the future while still being practical about my own needs. I figured that since I'm already 58, I don't need that much to live comfortably. I've got a good life already, and I'm not looking to blow all this money on extravagant things. But I also don't want to leave my son with nothing, so I went to him with a proposal. I told him that I was willing to give him the lottery ticket itself, the whole thing. In return, I'd like to make a deal. He would give me half of the money, $500 a day, until I passed away. After that, he'd be entitled to all the money for the rest of his life. I thought it was a fair deal. He's young, healthy, and has a whole life ahead of him. This way, he'd still have a steady stream of income for as long as I'm alive, and then full access to the entire amount later. He listened, but told me he needed some time to think about it. I respected that. It's a lot to process, after all. We're not talking about chump change here. It's a massive amount of money over time, and this decision would affect both of our lives. A few days later, he came back to me, and what he said completely caught me off guard. He said that he didn't think it was fair for me to want half of the money. He pointed out that I could live another 40 years, and during that time, he might need the money more than I do. He suggested that I take 20% instead of half. I was honestly stunned. It felt like he was already counting down the years of my life and calculating how much money he'd get afterward. I tried to keep calm and told him I'd think about it. But I couldn't shake the feeling that his request was just greedy. I had offered him a deal that I thought was more than generous, half the money for as long as I live, then the whole thing after. But for him to come back and counteroffer, saying I should only get 20%, rubbed me the wrong way. So, I made a decision. I signed the ticket myself and claimed the lump sum. I figured, if my son wasn't willing to accept what I saw as a reasonable and fair arrangement, then I needed to take control of this situation before things got out of hand. I went to see a lawyer, and together, we set up a plan to ensure my son would still be well taken care of, but on my terms. Here's the deal. His education will be completely paid for. Whatever school he wants to attend, it's covered. Whatever school he wants to attend, it's covered. When he's older, he'll have the funds to buy a home, essentially for free. And I'm setting up a trust fund that will guarantee him a steady stream of money for the rest of his life. This way, he'll always be financially secure, no matter what happens. But here's the thing, I'm also protecting myself. I'll have enough money to live comfortably for the rest of my life without feeling like I've handed over everything I've earned. My son will be set up for success, but he won't be controlling the purse strings, and frankly, after his reaction, I'm not sure I'd trust him to. Now, he's furious with me. He's angry that I went back on my original offer and didn't give him the ticket as promised. I understand why he's upset, but at the same time, I feel like I did the right thing. His reaction to my original offer showed me that maybe he wasn't ready for the kind of responsibility that comes with that kind of money. To make matters worse, he told my ex-wife about the lottery, and now she is angry too. We've been divorced for years. We don't have a particularly friendly relationship, and we certainly don't owe each other anything. Yet she's mad that I'm not giving her a cut of the money, even though we haven't been together in a long time. It's ridiculous. I feel like everyone is coming out of the woodwork to grab a piece of my winnings, and it's exhausting. I'm at a point where I don't feel bad for any of them. I offered my son a life-changing opportunity, and he tried to negotiate for more. As for my ex, I owe her nothing. The money I won is mine to do with as I please. I've made sure my son will be taken care of for life, but I'm also making sure I protect my own future too. I didn't win this lottery just to give it all away and be left with nothing. And before anyone asks, no, I won't be giving handouts to anyone else. There's a reason I'm posting this using a throwaway account. I'm keeping my circle tight and protecting my winnings because the greed I've seen from the people closest to me has been eye-opening.